Game Show with Hardy, Mike Dussault, and Paul Perillo is your source for the latest news and information following every Patriots game.
And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title. In the early 2000s, they won 3 of 4. Now they have won 3 of the last 5. Yes, it's still a dynasty.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Slipping and sliding, he was like a cat. Pop, pop, bang. I blacked out. What happened?
You don't
The Patriots win?
Not quite.
They did not win. The Patriots fall to the Buffalo Bills tonight at Gillette Stadium in what I believe, I will fact check this. I've not confirmed via my own sources. I believe is the second worst loss in the Belichick era.
Yeah, the worst home loss of the Belichick era.
The worst home loss and the second worst loss since Week 1 against also the Buffalo Bills in 2003. You can double check that if you would like to, Mike Dussault.
I don't want to tell you.
All right, but the final 38-9. Pats fall to 6-9 on the season. The Buffalo Bills, already winners of the division, inch that much closer to getting that number 2 overall seed. They don't have it done yet.
No, they stay there for now.
Yeah,
they deserve it. They look they look good.
Well, hey, win some, lose some.
Yeah.
That'll do it for the postgame show. I'd like to thank Matt Morrell.
Win some, lose some.
Matt LePan, Mike Dussault, Megan O'Brien, who was supposed to join us, but
She's on her way.
Well, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
You can roll that
Win
music.
some, lose some.
No, we have the lines loaded up here. 855-PATS-500.
People are mad.
Yeah, they want to. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I'm mad.
This is the place to talk about the game. Deuce, what happened? I'll tell you. Okay, let me answer it first.
Yeah.
First drive, fantastic.
Yeah, that's where I was going to start, right?
Good for you.
Big Sony Michel run.
Good for you on that first drive. So used to it. Yeah. You know, the Patriots, they come out, they got that scripted 10-play drive to open up the game. Looks so good. A couple of nice completions there. It should have been over with a touchdown were it not for Demir Bird trying to catch it with his face. And instead they settle for 3 points. But, hey, that's good for me. I like Nick Folk.
I haven't heard the catch it with his face put it quite that way. But, you know, I agree. I mean, the first drive, they were like, hey, we got something going. Sony has a run. You know, I mean, you can tell just by Josh digging into his bag of tricks to have the triple pass or whatever the hell it was that like you so deftly went off of Demir Bird's face.
He tried to catch it with his face.
But, you know, it's like, you know what they're trying to do, because it's like, if we could just get a lead somehow, like we need a trick play on that first drive, but we can just get a lead. They didn't. They had no answers for the Bills all night. I mean, I think the thing that kind of stood out to me was that, you know, I think the last couple games I've just been so disheartened by how fundamentally they just get pushed around on first down, you know, and it was just like, geez, it's not even a contest because they're not even. So tonight, I thought they did okay on the early downs, but they just had no answers for them. They couldn't get off the field on fourth down. They got to fourth down. They had no playmakers to make any plays to get off the field. They scored on 6 of their 7 drives. They couldn't do anything.
The Pats had 1 drive worth of plays on offense, and then that was it. They followed it up with a 3-and-out, one of many to come throughout the night. And as you said, the Bills scored on all but 2 of their drives.
They kicked a field goal and they punted one, and I mean that was for
and
Josh Allen.
And the last drive.
But then, you know, when scrub time and when they're back, Barkley's in. I'm not even counting that, but yeah.
So they had no answer defensively, and they didn't have anything beyond the first drive. Megan O'Brien in for Paul Perillo, who is sick. We hope that he gets better soon. But Megan, it's good to have you here. What happened?
My prediction about Jarrett Stidham came true. He
leads with
positivity.
She leads with that. And does almost Jarrett Stidham get in this game tonight, yes or no?
Yes.
When?
Mid-third quarter.
Right.
Wow. Nailed it.
How about that?
Tell me now,
but I gotta admit, I don't think he's the answer.
See, somebody had a good game tonight. Megan O'Brien.
So what was it? 8:09 in the third. He went in right around there.
Yeah.
It was 8 and change. Yeah. So okay.
All right, we got it. We got it. Yeah, it wasn't good on my good. I mean, we'll get to that later. But,
we'll get to our good, bad, and the injured. But it's.
But I thought I was with you on that first drive. They held him to 3, and I was like, maybe
they got 7. You know, I mean, it was, and then the other one was the Patriots finally scored their first touchdown in whatever it's been, 9 quarters, and then Nick Folk picks to mix the extra point. It's like nothing good can and nothing great can happen. It's like there's always got to be a rub to it.
You know what it is? Nothing gold can stay. Nature's first green
true.
is gold.
That's true.
But
and
nothing gold
I think
can stay.
us as Patriot fans are kind of experiencing that on a whole right now. It's just, I think, too, I mean, as you said, one of the worst losses. I think they probably ended up giving up the most yardage of any game this season. So it just kind of keeps getting worse. And, I have to say credit to Buffalo because I thought they were aggressive. Those 4th down calls, I was all in, what you got to do against the Patriots. You got to be aggressive. You got to go for those kind of things. I thought they did it. The naked bootleg by Allen, going downfield. Diggs was all over J.C. Jackson tonight. I mean, J.C. Jackson, I'm pretty sure he got benched for a little while in the 3rd quarter. I just saw him standing at the end of the bench with his helmet on his hand.
Butler got benched.
Never a good sign. He had two offsides penalties. It's just there's a lot to be upset about, but overall, the Bills played well. The Patriots continue their downward descent, and I'm not really sure what to take from positives from the game right now.
I think Buffalo's a really good team, and I think they're the division champs for a reason. I think Josh Allen's done nothing but improve since he's gotten into the NFL, especially this season. He's made a huge jump, and you kind of see, we talk about a team that's in their rebuilding phase. Well, the Bills were there for a number of years, and they've been there, and it wasn't that long ago when they drafted Josh Allen, and everyone said, oh, they still don't have it. Well, look now, and they're a good team. Diggs was unstoppable.
They're
3
a good
touchdowns.
team, and who's to say that they have it? Do they have enough to beat Kansas City? I don't know,
Maybe.
but if you're picking your 2 teams in the AFC right now, I don't know how you go with anything other than Kansas City and the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
And you're right, Megan. It's been a very short time back. You go back and say, they're still the Bills. Look at the Bills still being the Bills. They're going to go with Tyrod Taylor. What are they going to do? Who are they going to put in at quarterback? Well, they got their quarterback, and they've got receivers, and they've got enough defense to get the job done, and they've got a real good path right now to make it to the conference championship. We're going to talk about the Bills periodically throughout the night, but really it's about the Patriots, and specifically the good, the bad, and the injured.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
If you were in my toilet bowl, I wouldn't bother flushing it.
and the injured.
You all right, gay?
Good, the bad, and the injured, brought to you by the good players, the bad players, and the injured players.
They're bringing it to us?
Yeah.
Right.
In essence, they are responsible for this segment. We will get through one of these very quickly tonight, and we will start with the good. And
Who gets this one? Who gets?
Megan O'Brien gets to lead us off on the good
ladies
list.
first.
I only have 2, and I don't think they were very good. I think mediocre might be the mediocre, the bad, and the injured. Can we change it to that?
No, you can, but you can do individual plays.
I think Jacoby Myers again. I mean, he's doing the best he can.
Yeah. I think that's the
Some
general
plays.
rule of the good, the bad, and the ugly is sometimes you just have to do guys who had a couple good plays, and that's where we're at
right.
tonight.
That's where we
Jacoby.
are.
Okay,
Okay, Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I thought that pass that he connected with Stidham, I thought, now we're going to see the chemistry that they've built.
Yeah.
They came in
Comeback.
together. Maybe this will really be it. Maybe he'll connect with Harry. Maybe he'll connect with Gunner. And we'll really get to see Stidham. That is the future of the Patriots.
Nah.
And obviously that didn't happen. But I did think that one pass from Stidham was good. He had a couple of others. Jacoby Myers, he's hungry to play. He's making the most of his opportunities. That's what he's done all year long.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
That leads us off.
Get
What do
some
you
good
have,
plays.
Deuce?
I mentioned it in the open. I got the 3rd down defense. I mean, I was impressed with, I thought that they did a pretty good job of getting to 3rd down tonight. I was impressed that it wasn't what we've seen in the last couple of weeks where it's like
Do you mean
8
that
yard
they were
gain, 8 yard gain,
do you mean
8 yard gain, you
Okay,
know?
do you mean that they were actual 3rd downs? They didn't allow
Exactly.
them
There were
to
actual
pick up
3rd downs.
10 yards on 1st and 2nd down?
No, exactly. I mean, that's the silver lining. So, Buffalo was 5 of 12, which, you'll pretty much take in any game. But then, fourth down, it's 3 for 3. So I think what it symbolizes to me is that, instead of just being terrible in fundamentals and run defense, that, they actually played some good fundamentals in early downs. But it's just when it gets to that point, you get to third down. That's where you need the playmakers, right? That's where you need the guys who make a difference, who make Josh Allen uncomfortable. How many times you see Josh Allen go just sitting in the pocket, waiting, and the Patriots played some zone, and I thought they had to because he burned them a couple times with his legs. He got one particular third down. But, I think overall they were pretty good on third down. It was just, they just couldn't make any game-changing plays. They couldn't make those plays. They forced one punt. And when you have 4 guys who are just all getting solo blocked, we're going back to what we had the kind of middle of the season, which was the problem where it's, guys who can't get off blocks, guys who can't win, and that is a talent issue, and I think that speaks to a lot of what we've been talking about with Paul mentioning and all that. But what am I talking about? Was this a good? Yeah, the third down defense was okay.
What's the password on these things, you guys? I'm new to the show here.
I don't think we can give that out. Yeah.
Right, well,
it's the worst year in recent memory.
Okay.
In numbers.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wow, look, I logged in.
1995.
So,
I agree.
Graduated
Tough
high
one.
school.
Crap
It's a
year.
tough one for me.
Look, he didn't have a good night. He had a couple of good plays that I thought were better than I had expected. That's Sony Michel.
Yeah.
He had a couple of good runs tonight.
Yep.
I wouldn't, on a normal night where the Patriots win and you're going through everything, 10 carries for 69 yards. You take away that 29-yard run, and now you're down to 9 at 40. Okay, it's wasn't bad, but I thought in terms of individual offensive performances, Sony Michel's the closest thing you have to a good list, along with Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
I'll put him on the good for funsies.
Yeah, why not? We got room.
You're not going to put your guy on the good?
No, he missed an extra point.
Yeah, but 26 field goals
Nope.
in a row.
Nope. Tonight's
26?
first night. Nope.
Okay.
Hardy's tough on him.
No.
He's tough on the ones he loves the most.
That's how they know I truly love them, because I'm honest with them.
J.J. Taylor, we give him a good?
Yeah, I'll give him a
I was
good.
going to throw him on there. A couple nice carries, 28, long of 28.
I tell you what.
Some sparks. I still don't know if he's a long-term player for
I
the
don't
team.
either.
But
Cam's touchdown run, I'll put him on the good for that alone.
My
God, that's what we've
rumbling,
needed.
stumbling, bumbling. He just.
But that's what we've needed all season. He's not going to look pretty doing it, and he's not going to look fast doing it. But he's strong enough to do it.
That kind of sums it up, doesn't
And
it? You're right.
I think he's got enough grit to do it. I think
Sand in his pants.
I think sometimes he thinks his way out of some of those situations. Like there are times when he's a little too cerebral to kind of make those moves, but he can do it. He's not afraid to do it. I think he doesn't realize that's the best thing to do sometimes. There were 2 plays later on in the game where he had first downs there right in front of him. It was on the one where he took the sack and it turned it into, I believe, a 2nd and 17, and they picked up 7 on the third on that second down. So it was 3rd and 10, and he's in the pocket, and he had a little bit of time, and he's waiting. And I'm like, it's right there, dude.
Just take it.
Just go up the
Right.
middle.
Take the
You are
points.
big enough, and you are strong enough, and even you have enough speed to get up there and take that first down with your legs and do it yourself. He didn't do it then, but he did it on the touchdown.
Yeah.
So I'll give him. I'll put him on the good list for that one play.
I like that play, but I think that play is representative of not only Cam Newton, the runner, but just how hard it is for this team to score a touchdown. I mean, that is, that's everything, and that was the last time they got in the end zone.
Fred Kirsch now joining us here on the Patriots Postgame Show, who has gotten a haircut since the last time I saw him. My first question for you, Fred, where'd you get your haircut? I called my barbershop today, and they are closed for the month, they said.
Whole month.
Closed for the whole month.
Well,
I was there late November. It was time for another haircut.
You're lucky
Closed
you got
for the
hair to
month.
get cut.
You have to go up to Green Tangerine at Patriot Place.
I was there yesterday.
Is that where you get your haircut?
I do.
I'll be there.
It's very convenient.
I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Good enough.
Show him your badge. 10% off.
Shoosh. You know what? I'll go cash in one of those coupons over at the pro shop while I'm here.
There you go.
Utilize that Christmas bonus I got. Fred, now that you have your donuts situated there on the counter in front of you, would you like to? Would you please favor us with your initial post-game thoughts?
This was just absolutely awful, and the list of guys that got quote unquote injured in this game.
I know.
I mean, I don't know where they're going to get 53 guys next week.
Add it to the inactives from this week if those guys don't play again.
No, and that's what happens when the season's over like this. A little injury becomes a big injury, and now you start making business decisions.
Sure.
But it was just awful. I mean, that second drive, with the drop on the fake, it was just
Bird
awful.
trying to catch it with his face mask.
Yeah,
It was wide open. Should have been caught.
wide open.
Yeah.
But then it just went downhill from there.
Yep. Well, that's what we're saying is that you could tell like kind of the desperation on the first drive of the game of like we cannot get in a hole. We got to get points, like whatever it takes, and it still wasn't enough.
I think the worst moment was at the end of the game. Backup quarterback in, Barkley's in, 4th and 2. They're in their own territory, and they're going for it, and you're like,
Well,
that's when it really. I get it, but that's when it really sunk in that. This is worse than I ever thought.
I mean, for me, really, the worst moment of the game was after that initial drive, where this has been a common complaint of mine for years. The Patriots look great on that opening drive, 10 plays, surgical, and if Bird doesn't try and catch it with his teeth, then maybe they have a touchdown there to start. But on the very next possession, 3 and out, it's like, oh, so that's all you had.
Yeah.
The Bills are able to make one adjustment defensively after seeing your opening bag of tricks, and you can't get a first down now after you just drove down the field. And look, I'm not picking on the 2020 Patriots in this or, Josh McDaniels. This has been an issue for this team and other teams. They look great on that scripted first set of plays, and whether you're catching a defense that's a little bit cold or something, but man, did the wind just get taken out of the sails. You held them to 3 down at the other end. Okay, what are you going to do? Let's answer again. Now let's go get that touchdown. You didn't get the first drive. Oh, no, sir. No. See, now we're going to go 3 and out to set you up for what the rest of this game is going to be like.
And it's been the same thing all season, though. It's not a matter of want to. They're playing hard. They just can't.
Yeah.
They can't because they just don't have the players. They're just at a deficit when you stack up the roster on most teams that they've been playing this year.
Yeah, and we've said week after week, the good. Jacoby Myers is on the good almost every week, and he's doing everything he can. But the reality is
one
he's like
possession
a fourth
receiver isn't
on any
enough
other
to
team.
make a difference.
Look at the front seven.
Yeah.
Just look at the front seven on defense. They're decimated.
Yeah.
Guy was out. Bentley was out today. You had Butler trying to do too much.
Yeah.
It's
crazy that their best run stoppers are out, and it's through the air that they get most torched with. I mean, they you can't pin them down, Like it's one week it's one thing, the next it's another.
Well, there's no pass rush, so
that's I talked about that earlier. Just so many times where it's 4 guys rushing and it's just they're stopped. And Josh Allen's sitting there.
I would agree with you on Butler trying to do too much. You're trying to get a stop on 3rd down. If you're in the backfield before the ball is snapped, you're trying
too
hard.
That's a penalty.
That's a penalty.
Winovich will have a nice play in the backfield, then he jumps off sides.
Yeah.
It's consistency. That's what separates a true NFL starter and who the Patriots are trotting out every week. They're not true yet NFL starters, and the consistency is what shows that.
Something we talked about during the pregame, Fred, going back to 2009 when Bill famously said, I can't get these guys to play for me. Is this year the feeling that I can't get these guys to play the way they need to play? Or maybe not what they're going to be capable of in 2 or 3 years from now, even what they're capable of now. Bill must see something in a lot of these guys that he's just not getting.
No, it's different than 2008.
They're playing for him.
Yeah, that was kind of an attitude problem too.
Right.
Yes, they're playing for him. They just can't do it.
They can't do it. I just can't get these guys to do what they need to do to have this job at this level of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just like I said. It's not a matter of want to.
Right.
It's a matter of can you do it, and they can't.
Yeah.
More goods. Come on, Deuce. You must have another.
Nah, I
good.
got nothing.
All right,
Yep.
Megan, you must have another good. You're a positive person.
Well, I said Folk because 26, but he did miss the extra point. So I know you will not approve of it, but 26
good
in a
list.
row is pretty impressive.
Who did you put on so far?
We put Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
We put third down defense.
Sony Michelle.
Yeah,
Sony
I
Michelle.
would put Sony in
And
there.
we had
I put Sony on
J.J.
it.
Taylor
JJ
for an
Taylor.
individual
It's mostly
play.
plays. We're down to like individual plays, really. That's
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
That's
I mean,
What's-
Jonathan Jones early had some nice plays.
yeah.
You know.
He had a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but yeah. So the bats.
All right, so let's start with the starting quarterback tonight. I think Cam Newton, who was 4 of 11 on the night, and as Megan O'Brien predicted, would be replaced by Jared Stidham midway through the third quarter. She called it exactly in the pregame.
It
So
did.
there you go.
She
There's
knew.
that. For
I had a feel for the team, as you
Okay.
said. I learned it from
See,
you.
Megan knew that they'd be getting blown out by the mid-third quarter. I thought it would be until the mid-fourth quarter.
right.
But I mean, if you're Jarrett Stidham, you're like, do I really have to go in? Because there's nothing he can do.
No,
and
no.
and I still think he looks okay. I mean, he
Oh,
looks more functional
stop.
quarterback than me. He
No.
looks more than a just the way he
look,
throws the ball.
is that what you're resorting
just
to?
the
like
way he
right when it
throws the
hits
ball.
the ground at
Yeah.
their feet?
Yeah.
Is that
When he
what
can't
is that
reach
their
the
thing?
guy.
I'm just saying he looks better to me than Cam Newton.
Mike, let's
okay.
not resort to. I'd like to see you do it, okay? Because that's what you're giving him right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. No one's asking you to do it.
No.
He's supposed to be able to do it.
No,
he can't do it.
He can't. I mean, but I still just don't understand why we're continuing to expect anything different from this team. And they are not, like, even I, Mr. Patriots Positivity, think that there will be some kind of little glimmer of improvement from week to week. Like, I still expect that, and to say, hey, maybe there isn't. There isn't. They're playing worse and worse each week, and it's new things, and guys are getting injured now, so it's hard to really make a blanket statement about this team. Who are they rolling out at the end of the game is not who they were rolling out at the beginning of the season. But still, it's disheartening because they're not responding in any way, and everything they're feeding us all week long, it's just
Somebody asked
Okay.
me about the season, am I more sad, mad, or disappointed? And I think once we saw who Cam was, I think I'm more sad than anything else. Sad that the era is over. But once you saw that Cam was who he was, how can you be disappointed? Because you
the
knew
same
they couldn't
thing.
do anything. There was just nothing they could do. And I'm not mad because this had to come.
Right.
So let's rip off the Band-Aid. Let's hope they spend some money in the offseason and draft well. And let the rebuilding begin.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's boiled down to. Now, I singled out Cam on the good list for his touchdown run, but there was plenty bad tonight that just I don't think we need to go over it all, but it's more the same. It's more the same that we haven't, to Deuce's point, we haven't seen improvement on. And so that's where they're at.
Even the touchdown run, it was more like a pinball. Like he kind of ended up in the end zone.
I know. It sums up how hard it is to get a touchdown.
Here we go. We got it right here on the screen.
I mean, he
That's
breaks
a great
one
analogy.
tackle. He's got to get through this guy, and then that, and then him, and then he just falls in.
It's almost like he didn't know he was at the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I expected him
He
to
forgot where the end zone starts.
to fall forward sooner than that. Watch. Okay, so little
You're
stutter
already
step
in.
there.
You're already in.
Yeah, it's like no, and now you can go down.
Yeah. There it is. First
I
touchdown.
mean, it's nice to
3
get
games.
a touchdown, I guess.
Yeah.
Who else was disappointing?
I got to put
tonight?
J.C. Jackson on the list.
Yep.
And it was funny because I was texting with Paul, and he was saying, "Geez, you see J.C. kind of like John a little bit early on when Allen overthrew Diggs once, and then it didn't go so well from there." And I mean, the 50-yarder. I mean, that's just. He got caught looking. He slowed down. He's in pursuit. He's right there. I mean, there's no way to hide that you're in coverage on this guy and you're behind him and you slow down and he was gone.
He peeked and he saw the traffic around Allen, and I think he thought, "Oh, good." And then next thing you know, the ball's out of Allen's hands. Zip. And he's
Bye-bye.
2 steps behind, and goodbye.
So I think he
enough
got
to-
benched. I think he was sitting the end of the bench, third quarter. He did go back in the fourth. Jawan Williams had a little time in, but we talked about him. We talked about him before the show, and saying, here's a guy. He could be the next Gilmore. He's a building block. this is not what you want out of that guy. You need that guy to step up. We're seeing, well, that's ESPN's showing him get burned now.
Oh, we have a Diggs highlight package here.
Yeah, thank you guys. But it's just a rough game for him, and I mean, it's certainly I would question anyone who's trying to tell me that he's going to be a number one corner anytime soon. And I think it's just another kind of negative reflection on him of maybe his long-term future here.
Yeah. Speaking of ESPN, a lot of Patriots fans were complaining, oh, they're, making Josh Allen the next Saint. I thought they spent a lot of time talking about how the Patriots had this amazing run. And, if I was a Bills fan, I would have been upset with that broadcast. It's like, we're winning. We're killing this team, and all you can talk about is how,
the past.
And they had a nice graphic there with all the opt-outs, too.
Right.
So it's
making excuses for us.
I heard a lot early on about all the stuff they were talking about on Cam Newton. And this was from Bertrand. He said the ESPN crew is unbelievable with their Cam coverage, talking about his sleep schedule, talking about all the things he does to prep. I mean, they were like overboard on Cam. To your point, Fred, if I were a Bills fan, I'm like, hey,
right.
The story is the Buffalo Bills, AFC East champs, in line for the 2 seed here. Why are we still talking about the Patriots and talking about Cam Newton? What are we doing?
And Josh Allen, how he's worked his way into the MVP conversation. Now, I don't think he'll get it. I think it's either going to be Rodgers or Mahomes. But the fact that this guy, who we all had a ton of questions about heading into the season, has worked his way into that conversation, that's your talking point. But instead, they talked all about Cam Newton and his leadership.
Confident, just confident out there. I mean, you just look at him, you can tell he's feeling it,
Oh, Allen.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was just really impressed with him, and I was just impressed that the Bills didn't shart themselves, like they showed they were timid at all.
They're over that.
They're over that. They came here, they put the hammer down.
Yeah.
They didn't turn the ball over. They were aggressive. They didn't take stupid penalties. They managed the clock well. I mean, they were just top to bottom the better football team out there.
Is it better to take this licking and just get totally exposed so that there's no false expectations or hopes going into the...
I like that. I like that, but I would also say, what's going to happen next week? Because, that's the game.
It could be like, the score may not be like this, but it could be just as frustrating, and the Patriots could lose. The way the Jets are playing right now?
I know.
Are you kidding me?
And to lose to this Bills team, all right, I can take my hat off to the Bills. That's great. Patriots going to show up next week against the Jets team that has won 2 in a row, feeling good.
I will not be at all surprised if the Patriots lose that game. And again, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to be mad or disappointed. I think it is what it is right now. We got a lot of work to do. And no winning in week 17 isn't going to help.
Nope.
I'm on to the offseason with you. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, who they sign, who they draft, what moves they make in free agency. I'm on to the offseason. I don't care about next week.
Bring on Delgado, let him be the quarterback, whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott.
And that's my silver lining of everything is just that I know this is driving Bill Belichick crazy. I know that he is just as frustrated and 10 times more so than we are, and he's got the means to try to fix this, and I hope that he is aggressive in that. But like you said, it's to take one on the chin like this, where there's no, there's nothing. You just got smoked by a much better football team, and it shows you exactly where you are right now.
By the second quarter, it wasn't a ball game.
Now that
there's so many bads we could get to. We'll pepper them in throughout the night. We should mention the injuries, though. Do
you want me to run them down? I know. I don't know if we're going to go around in circle to do them all, but
I can eat my donut.
I mean, a lot of them are. There are injuries here, but there are a lot of. I'm feeling something. I'm coming out, and don't expect to see me next week either. So,
and I think that's what some of the guys who didn't play were. But to run them down in order of appearance, it would be Josh Uche with a foot, Tashawn Bauer with a neck, Terez Hall with an ankle, Devin McCourty with a shoulder, David Andrews with a calf. He's been on the injury report this week, as has Shaq Mason. But as Scal pointed out, he was a calf, and now he was a foot.
Well, they're very close to each other.
He had
anatomically
lower body injury.
Sure.
And then the last one we saw was Anthony Jennings limping off with I don't know if that one was reported, but he was the last one. So I mean, just a laundry list.
Uche was down for a long time.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't think he
but
came
then-
back either.
Yeah,
No,
a lot
but-
of people
but then he-
assume that
then
was
he-
a cramp, but I don't think it was.
Said-
But he
ankle, yeah.
trotted off the field
Yeah.
after he was down for a long time. It was odd.
Yeah.
But
Well, there were
Again,
20 Patriots
business
listed
decision.
on the
Yeah.
injury report this week.
Yeah.
One
and,
T.
And I think that, we are at the point right now where that's what's happening. We're pulling guys out. So, like, as mad as you can get at this Patriots performance, like, you do have to acknowledge who was out there.
right, and you're dealing with guys who are thinking about next year. You're dealing with a guy like in Julian Edelman who's thinking about life after football. Maybe he's not thinking about this year or next year. I don't think. I think he's thinking about real long term stuff. So
And I don't think we'll be dealing with will Julian play this year.
Well, that came out, I think, before
next
before the game. Rappaport had tweeted out, I think,
that he's
Yeah.
done for the
that
year.
he's done.
Yeah.
All right. Let's break right now. We'll come back and we'll do the calls right away. Tony, Robert, Rob, all you guys, bear with us here for a very short break, and then we'll continue here the Patriots post-game show. Thanks for staying with us, and we'll be right with you. Hold on.
Ready or not.
Gillette ProGlide and ProGlide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
Ready or not.
Gillette ProGlide and ProGlide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Did you eat off it?
It's the cleanest thing in the show.
Would you put your food
I
down?
would lick that table.
All right.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Right to the calls here, 855-PATS-500. We begin with Tony in Canada, coming off this Patriots loss to the Bills, second worst in the Belichick era, 38-9 the final here tonight from Gillette Stadium. Worst loss at Gillette Stadium during the Belichick
that right?
era.
Yeah.
That's what Deuce said.
Yeah, so
That's
somebody's
what
counting.
he said.
Mike Reese.
Go ahead, Tony.
Hey guys, what a game, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
We're
something.
staying up for, right?
I think that, yeah, exactly. I think, one thing I realized by watching even Stidham play is that we don't have a quarterback.
Well,
I think the moment...
I agree with you, but if you're going to judge from this game, that's not fair to
Not
Stidham.
fair to Stidham.
Yeah.
No, let me tell you when I came to this realization. It was when Belichick got off the phone off that challenge, and I saw him throw that phone.
Yeah.
And I realized that was the best throw I've seen by
I see what you did there. Good, Tony.
Take a
Good,
look
Tony.
at that replay. That was something. It was a sidearm.
Yeah.
But, no, seriously, then... it's obvious we need a quarterback, and Belichick, I see Belichick maybe having another 3 to 5 years max. And being that, you draft a quarterback, they need at least a year or two really to develop. I see that if we're going to make a serious run, it's going to be in free agency for a quarterback. So my hope is that we pick up someone like Jimmy G. But I don't know. We'll see where everything goes. I'm not too worried. I think Bill's going to do really well in free agency, more so than the draft. So I think we're going to have a lot.
I hope so, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, thank you. I tell you what, if you like that sidearm delivery and you want 5 years, now we're back to Stafford. You know,
Ernie got an earful, huh?
Oh, it's got to be Ernie, right?
Yeah,
who called down
imagine.
for that replay?
Yeah,
and it happened right in front of Bill.
Yeah,
like I'm sorry if Bill is throwing that phone because he's angry at Ernie, be angry at yourself. You are right there.
It's close to me, and I'm a mile away.
Okay, so when I saw it, I at that point I was watching in here. I gave him a full half outside in the cold, but at that point, the way the half ended, I didn't feel great about the situation. So I'm watching it in here, and I said, "Ooh, that's close, right?" And I was surprised that they ruled it a catch right away. But that's from like a bad angle on TV. It was right in front of the bench there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you should be able to make your own judgment call on that too, whether it's worthy of a challenge. And oh, by the way, him challenging the punt that allegedly hit Olszewski.
Did he challenge it, or did they just?
No, he didn't have
didn't.
to challenge that
they
because
just
that was
reviewed it.
basically a turnover. So
He-
that was a booth review.
Yeah,
But they said the flag went down. He said that the red flag went
No,
down.
but
He had it out in
I
his
don't
hand,
think
I saw.
he needed to do that.
Well, I know, but if you do that, then that's also a delay of game penalty, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't know. You might be
Believe
right.
me, you're talking.
I mean, they didn't call delay a game.
I believe Jim Caldwell got called for a couple of those over the years.
Yeah.
It may have happened to him twice.
Well, he used to just throw it out. He didn't care. No, that was a weird play because I didn't think that they gave Gunnard room.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he called for a fair
Got crowded.
catch, right?
He's got pushed
So he's
back a
supposed to
little
give
bit.
him a little space, and it didn't seem like they did that. I thought that was a penalty, but whatever.
All right, let's go
I
to.
mean, like, you're going to
wasn't
look at
gonna
one
change.
thing like that, like it matters.
No, probably not. In a 38-9 game, probably not. Rob in Fort Lauderdale, what's up, Rob?
Yes, hey guys.
Turn down the internet.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Dressed
like
in
it's in the other room.
holiday style, in the air.
What goes on when this happens? Like, where are they going?
Where's the volume control?
Yeah.
It's in the basement.
Yeah.
It's on my router. One master
Ma!
volume.
You hear like a dungeon door opening up. All right.
I gotta turn the volume down.
Yeah.
It's like
Sorry about that.
Rob, you still with us?
No.
Okay.
Oh, poor Rob. He was listening and everything.
he
It
was
all
on-
queued up.
he done muted himself.
He was
Hang up, Hardy.
he was on hold for a long time. I'll put him on hold. How's that?
Yeah.
Utilize the hold button there.
Is
and
there,
we'll
like
go-
music that goes along with that?
I don't know. Maybe they listen to us. Mark in Los Angeles. What's up, Mark?
Hope not.
How you doing, guys?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark. It's been a while since I've called in, and it just the time difference is kind of hard. But
why is it hard for you?
Yeah, not tonight.
It's 8:45 out there.
No, like every single Sunday is kind of hard. But I've been wondering for 15 weeks now, why is Cam Newton on this team?
Well, at this point, it's a fair question. But listen, when he was signed, I was excited.
Yeah, me too.
No one knew what he was going to be. No one thought it was going to be like this. No, you thought, oh, maybe he's not going to be the Cam Newton from 2015 for sure. But no one knew it was going to be like this. Come on.
Yeah, and
But
let's
can I
circle
ask a
back.
question?
Yeah.
His lifetime stats are he's a 500 quarterback, and we traded him for a 750 quarterback. The 750 quarterback is playing 750, and the 500 quarterback is playing.
We didn't trade him for anything.
They picked him up in free agency.
When Tom Brady left, Cam Newton wasn't on the radar. That wasn't the plan to pick up Newton. Newton fell in our lap. The price was right. If it was any more than $1 million, he wouldn't be on the team.
Don't make the mistake of thinking that they chose Cam Newton over Tom Brady.
Yeah.
If you want to get on the Patriots for not sticking with Tom Brady for 2 more years, that's one thing. If you want to go after them for not having a better plan in place to replace Tom Brady, that's something else. But to say that they somehow chose this as their best course of action. This is what they want. They didn't want this. They hoped it was going to work out, and for a whole week it looked like they might get away with it. But after that, it soon started to become obvious, and even after that stretch of the 4 or 5 wins there, you realize that it was closer to fool's gold than gold.
Yeah.
It was not a real sustainable way of winning football games in 2020 in the NFL. Nobody thought that.
And if we go back to what we talked about in the pregame, like in the pregame, we said if Jared Stidham was starting, would the record be any different? I think the record would be worse. And I know it's not fair to judge him based on this, but I don't think Stidham would yield you any more wins than Cam did. I don't think he's ready. And Cam was an experiment. You got him for nothing. Yeah. There was risk involved because it could put you in the middle of the draft, which is where the Patriots will probably be. But they took a flyer.
The games they won were because of the run.
Yeah.
So you asked the question, if you took that away and you had to pass to win those games, would you have won? And probably not. I mean, you'd probably be 5 wins or 4 wins at this point.
I just it's just the lack of development that's most surprising to me. I just thought Cam would get better. I thought that he would get better with time as he got more experience in the system. And every week they kind of tell us, and I believe them how hard they're working. 100% I believe them with that. But we're just not seeing results. You're not seeing quicker decisions. You're not seeing. I mean, it has just been the same kind of quarterbacking and offense for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, ever since we had those glimpses of hope, Miami, and we could throw in Seattle, and then since those points we've just been chasing it, and it's never gotten better.
I mean, the weapons don't help. I mean, that's for sure. They don't help. They would be bad for any quarterback. But when you add that to what Newton's ability right now to, like you said, process, make decisions, and then be accurate, it's just a perfect storm.
Yeah. And that's, and I was doing a little in jest with Stidham, but it's just like, at least when he gets it, he just bang, like you just see the timing there. Now, yeah, the ball's in the dirt sometimes, absolutely. I'm not saying, but you just see that's what it's supposed to look like.
Even the decisiveness to run isn't there. Like, it's like you're supposed to have this advantage with his legs, and you don't have that. Like, you were watching Tannehill the other night. Did you see what he did?
Yeah.
Scoot. Like, Newton can't do that.
No.
At this point.
No. Let's try Rob in Fort Lauderdale again, see if it works this time. Rob, go ahead. Rob?
No, he's
Come back to Florida.
It's not going to work.
Come back to Florida.
No, he's...
Deuce, I think that's interesting you talk about the lack of development. And with Newton, yes, that's certainly something. He hasn't gotten better through the year, but especially on your side of the ball, I feel like a lot of the guys on defense I'm disappointed with. Winovich has been so up and down. Adam Butler, he's been so up and down. Yeah. He slides in to fill others' shoes, and he has a great game. But really, since then, when he has to take on a larger role, he's struggled.
Exactly. Remember what I said at the beginning. These aren't, at this point in their careers, true NFL starters. And the difference between a guy in the NFL who's a starter and not is the consistency, the ability to string good, smart plays together, and that's where they fall down.
Yeah, and I mean, Gerard Mayo on Saturday was talking, one of his interesting responses, saying, somebody asked him about Uche being a specialized pass rusher. He said, we don't want that. We want guys who can be Swiss Army knives and do a bunch of things. And I'm like, you don't have any of those guys right now. You have a bunch of guys who all kind of do one thing, and it's on you to kind of mix and match, and then the other team just says, you got all your unstoppers out here, we're going to throw it over your head now.
Mix and match, and then you have 12 men on the field.
You got a bunch of guys who can almost do one thing. It's a far cry from being a Swiss Army knife.
That's fair.
And being able to do multiple things. And it's especially unsettling to me to see a guy like Winovich, who I like, but like flying off the handle and playing with such emotion and yelling at the refs and it's like, hey, man, you got to figure out your own game first before you can start acting like, the deck is stacked against you. There may have been a couple of bad calls. Yeah,
like
a couple of bad calls in there.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying you have to earn your way. I'm saying, like, if you're doing an honest assessment of the game, you start with your performance, and then you worry about the calls, a couple that may not have gone your way.
Like a lot of these guys, like on the 2014 Patriots defense, would be really good. They'd be like, wow. And, they'd come in and they'd make a play, and you'd be like, oh, I want to see more of Winovich. Mm-hmm. And he'd be getting himself aligned to make more money somewhere else where he can prove whether or not he is a true starter.
Yeah.
But on this team, there's just too much responsibility thrust on them because of the lack of talent.
Let's go to Steve in Miami. Steve, you're on the Patriots Postgame Show. What's up, Steve?
Hi, how is everyone? Happy New Year, and I can't wait for the New Year because that means the Patriots season ends. Hopefully, COVID ends.
Yeah.
Hopefully, everything ends.
We hope.
Except with the world. A couple things. First of all, Andy Hart, I'm going to take you to task. There's no way you can put Cam Newton on the good just for one play.
He's not here.
The game is 60 minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry, one play, and he stumbled in. So I'm sorry, that you can't do. 2, Fred.
Yes.
I want to thank you for all the times that you help us who are not near the games and all that. I'm the guy who always comes in as Steve in Miami, and I was ready to fly up there to bring you a napkin so you could put the donut down on it. But I'm happy that you got to eat it. But one thing that nobody has brought up yet, and that is the 2 rookie tight ends. Have they just not been unleashed? What is going on with them?
That's another thing, Steve. That's a good point to bring up.
You're going into the offseason, again, with the same questions about tight ends, the same questions about Patriots, the passing, the same questions about stopping the run. It seems like the last offseason, there's nothing there yet, and it's very frustrating.
With Asiasi, I know, like, he hasn't played well, but he hasn't had a clean ball to catch since he's been out there. I feel bad for him because maybe some of them he should have caught, but for a guy, a rookie, he hasn't had a fair shot either. Not one of these passes are, like, really clean passes. And I know, it's not fair to compare anyone to Aaron Rodgers, but I know if Aaron Rodgers had thrown the exact same ball in the exact same situation, all 3 of those latest catch throws would have been catches.
Yeah.
I guarantee it, because he throws an easier ball to catch. These balls are like screaming, or they're behind him, or what. I feel bad for Asiasi because his audition hasn't been a fair one either.
Yeah, and I agree with the caller and about the tight ends, because we are entering an offseason in the same situation where we don't know what we have with the tight ends. But in fairness to Dalton Keene and Devin Asiasi, they've really had limited opportunities. And to your point, Fred, they haven't been great passes either. Not only have they been limited opportunities in time on the field, but they haven't been given a fair shot in the passes they've been thrown either. So for them, I don't know if they can play.
Right.
I have no idea if they can play.
Right.
I don't want to kill Asiasi, but I'm just not really in love with him. I don't like his play style. I feel like
they can't play.
He's low energy. He just doesn't have any sense of urgency to his game.
Kind of like
it
how
just seems kind of lackadaisical out there. And Keane was barely out there, so I can't really judge him. But I get your point about the catches. I mean, to me, it's almost like a comedy show right now with just like, what's it going to take to get a tight end to catch a pass around here? And then you have plays like that where it's like, oh, there it is, it's wide open, and Cam just rockets it at his face, and he's, it's a comedy of errors with the tight ends right now, and that's why I think they got to add somebody. They got to have, all these 5 guys that they got on the roster now will come back next year, hopefully, and they'll have some kind of depth to just like maybe one guy emerges.
And to make it worse, they've got this guy on Buffalo, Lee Smith, who's like 300
they
pounds.
Drafted as a third tackle, and he's catching balls running down
wide
down the field untouched. I'm like, we drafted him as a third blocking tight end. We let him go, and now he's catching passes on us, and we can't complete a pass to either one of our 2 third-round tight ends.
But what I think the Patriots need to do as far as tight end is they need a veteran. They need a clear-cut number 1 tight end. And these rookies, if one of them works, great. If the other one is a blocker, fine. But they need a veteran tight end to add to the roster for 2021.
All you need is a quarterback, tight end, wide receiver.
Defensive lineman,
linebacker.
But honestly, get a quarterback and a tight end. Like, just start there. Like, if you just start there, like, I think you'll have the start to have something. I know. I'm a defense guy.
From the defense.
Well, I'm just saying that they could probably put something together. But if you can't score any points, it doesn't matter unless you have the 85 Bears. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you need some kind of functional offense. And I've watched this same thing for the last 2 months, straight, where every week we're like, well, maybe this week they'll make some. It's the same thing every week, So I agree, but I just think that's just the basis of an offense. You got a couple backs who can run. You can probably find some offensive linemen. They always seem to pop up. But get a tight end. I'm fine. Throw Hunter Henry. What do you want? What do you want? That's why Bill was stalking him after that game in San Diego. I'm what do you need? Because that's that kind of player, just somebody who can play and catch and but it's not going to really matter unless you don't get a quarterback too.
I mean, I'd love to actually see what Newton is thinking when he drops back to pass, because I think it's just like a fog. I don't think he sees anything.
I know. It's like that Zach Galifianakis gif where he's got all the different figures going through his brain, and he's trying to.
It just doesn't seem like he's processing.
Was it the same play where he rocketed the one to Asiasi, where he kind of he double pumped it for no apparent reason?
Probably.
It's he was in the pocket, and he kind of double clutched it, and he pump faked once. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, I'm pretty sure the play design was for you to throw it that first time, and he's waiting for, I don't know, the lineman's hands to go down. It's
it's my biggest complaint with Cam Newton. It's just the timing of it. It's not. And he can't get it, and you can see it, and that's why he's never in rhythm with the offense, and that's the same thing I was kind of just saying with Stidham. It's like the ball's going into the ground, but at least it's coming out on time.
But you know what? I agree with Andy Hart. He deserves to be on the good list for that touchdown run.
But another time, Newton, he steps up, escapes the pocket. He's now free and clear. There's no one around him, and he decides to jump up and throw this jump pass low and outside into the ground to a wide open. It's either Myers or Bird. I forget which one. It's what's going through his head? I don't know.
I think
he
too
has
much.
No
just too much.
sense of when pressure is coming
Yeah.
either. No sense. And you're just hold on to the ball.
I never thought I'd sit here and kill a Patriots quarterback like we're doing right. But I don't know if it's killing. It's
not killing. It's you almost feel bad at times, and look,
it's just observing.
It's just an assessment.
Sensing the pressure, Megan. I don't mind. I mean, I feel bad for Cam when he got rocked from the blind side tonight. Oh. I'm more put off when it comes from the right, and I don't know how he doesn't pick up the pressure when it's coming literally, in the direction he's facing.
I can't believe he held on to that ball when he got hit from the blind.
And there he goes, right there, down on the blind side.
I know the one you're talking about. He got rocked.
He got rocked, and that ball didn't even move. That was impressive.
Yeah, he falls hard too when he goes down.
It's just so jarring how disjointed the offense looks, and it's just consistently if there's anything they've been consistent at, it's just disjointed. And you watch other, got a chance yesterday to sit around and watch a little football and watch other teams, and it just looks so different. It's just glaring. It jumps off the screen to you when there's a team where everybody's in sync, but the quarterback is just kind of
again, sure. And part of that is the defenses aren't afraid of anything.
No.
There's nothing on the Patriots offense that a defense has to be fearful of. And when that happens, you can dictate.
They have no respect for the offense.
Yeah, you
Defenses
can dictate.
have no respect for this offense. Brady. How'd you get a name like Brady in Kansas City? Is your father from Dorchester? Brady?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. What's up?
So I wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much for doing all of this that you've done. You've let us Patriots fans be at least happy to watch this at the end of a terrible game like so, and the past couple of games that we've been so sad. So thank you so much for allowing us to vent our frustrations, at least to you guys.
Yeah.
But my question is, where do you guys look at with the possible draft, this coming draft, if there is the best possible player is an offense or a defensive player, do we pick the best possible player, or do we always alternatively go to an offense because we're so lacking from offense this season? Do we just default to an offensive player, or do we instead fall to the best possible player that is in the draft? Because obviously we're looking forward. We can't really look anywhere inward right now, so the draft seems like the best possible pick.
That's such a tough question to answer because there's different grades of best possible player. How good is the best? If it's a defensive player, for example, best possible player on the board, how much better is he than the best wide receiver, for example?
Yeah.
And that determines whether who you take. And it's always Patriots need everything. I was going to say it's always a balance between need and and value and who's the best player. But I think they just take the best player. Unless it's a quarterback. Unless it's a quarterback they like, take him. That's it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you take the best player on the board because there is nowhere on this team where you can say they're set.
I've been thinking a lot about this, and I know we talked in the pregame show just about, Mike, you brought up how cornerbacks, for whatever reason, they can develop these undrafted guys. They've been able to do it since 2015 or so. Yeah. They've really been developing that position well. They've struggled in the first round with wide receiver. They've struggled in the early rounds with wide receivers. For whatever reason, they've struggled to identify talent at that position. Now, I so badly want them to draft a wide receiver or a tight end in the first round, but I'm also terrified of that because they've struggled so much at identifying talent in that position. So if you have a first-round pick, are you sticking with what you can evaluate best, and that's defensive lineman or something different?
Yeah.
Or do you just say, we really need a tight end, we really need a receiver, we know this guy will work out? Well, because it hasn't.
Yeah, but I think if they're at 13, 14, it's different. It's not like taking N'Keal Harry at the bottom of the first, or Sony Michel at the bottom. Like, I think there you have a chance to get, it's a little easier for you. There's not like maybe last year you're trying to choose between like Judy and Ruggs and, but you're going to get a player who at least has some kind of talent that is going to change your offense a little bit. And that's what I think you need. And now I would say maybe if there's a one of those rangy middle linebacker types, I'd be all in on that in the first round. But otherwise, I'm just like, and I can't believe I'm saying it, I'm just like, you need weapons. Like, you need to be in this NFL, the way the NFL's going, if you want to compete with Kansas City, with Buffalo, with Diggs and those guys, you need to be able to put points. You need to be able to fight back and counter. When they have these runs where they put up 20 points, 30 points, you're going to have to score. And so I think, like, they can, I trust Bill to do the bend, don't break. I trust him that he could probably put together the 2011 defense, and figure it out and at least get them to a Super Bowl. But offensively, if there's no way to scheme up speed or.
I heard you guys on the pregame show when you were talking about like what you said, the trouble they've had developing young wide receivers, and the narrative has always been, well, the Patriots system is so complicated. It's really. That's not the case anymore.
No.
That is not the case anymore. That is not the excuse. And let's hope going forward that, with your guy gone, the guy that you hate,
Tom Brady.
You won't have that demand at quarterback where you're supposed to be on the same page with me all the time.
Well, now
except I'm a PhD and you're a freshman in college.
Yeah.
And you won't have that anymore. And I hope that will help if they do decide to.
Yeah.
Take an early tight end or wide receiver.
Because now you got the freshman in college running the offense, and he's like,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
What are you looking at me for?
Page.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Keep it simple for everybody. The whole bend, don't break defense, too, I have to laugh at that because as I was watching it with LePan tonight, I said, this has turned into the bend, then break defense.
Right.
They bend all the way down the field, and then they just totally break down in the red zone and allow a wide open pass, to the back corner of the end zone, and like even Diggs a couple of times might want to cover that guy. I don't know. Some of the things that the Bills were doing tonight, whether it was the fake punt or getting Diggs alone in single coverage, it's the exact same things we used to pick on teams for when they would only single cover Rob Gronkowski. Or when the Patriots would run one of those plays, we're like, how do you not see that coming? You're so stupid.
Right.
Well,
or you cover Edelman with linebackers, and you're like, wow, look at him go. Look at him go.
Right.
I mean,
How come he's got 11 catches for 150 yards?
It's just what keeps standing out to me is just going down their drives, like from the top. 10 plays, 49. 12 plays, 70. 10 plays, 75. 3 plays, 67. They got the touchdown. That was the 50-yard. I mean, that's their first half. Every drive is sustained 10-plus plays, and maybe they were a little better this game and not giving up the explosive plays aside from that touchdown, but, they just consistently just churning it right down the field each time, and it was the same right into that, what it was the third quarter, 8:75. They came right out, same thing, and then that was it. 31-9 game over.
Now, before we do this, Megan, remember, you asked to be here. Paul Perillo not feeling well, so he's not on the postgame show tonight.
The good thing, I know Paul's sick, but and people are going to automatically jump to COVID. We know he doesn't have COVID because at his, health situation, if he had COVID, he'd be on a ventilator. So we know he doesn't have COVID.
No. Not willing to joke
He's
about
fine.
that.
No.
I will say this, though. Megan did volunteer to be here. So, as it is time for the FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Game, Deuce gets to go first. You get your choice, and then Megan will
she's
have
gotta
to
pick
take
out the
the
seconds.
other, either Air or Ground Player of the Game. Deuce?
What am I getting? I'm getting the Air.
You get to go first. No,
All right.
you can choose either
Yeah.
one.
Okay. I'm gonna give it to Josh Allen. I'm gonna show a little respect.
Wow.
Great game from him. You know,
Okay.
300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns was perfect. As much as I want to, go with a Patriot, I have to give some respect to the Bills quarterback, who I think was excellent, has shown great development, is a deserving MVP candidate. He is my FedEx Air Player of the Game.
I give it to Belichick for throwing that phone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, I'll make that back up.
Megan, that leaves you for the FedEx Ground Player of the Game.
I'll go with Sony Michel.
There you go.
I think he played all right again. He's
And
had a
why
rough
did he
season.
only get 10 carries?
I've been wondering that too.
Right on. Yeah.
6.9 yards per
Well, they
carry.
didn't have that many offensive plays.
No, I know, but
It was like a third of them.
But Sony, I think when Damian Harris is healthy, the two of them back there, those are running backs that can
Yeah,
contribute,
and-
that you can build around a little bit.
And I think what we've learned is that Damian Harris is special, and Sony is.
Well, I don't know if I go
okay.
special right away. Promising.
Yeah.
Promising.
Fair enough. But I think, I was curious with the way Damian was running. Like, wow, last year you could maybe say, well, Sony didn't have a fullback. He didn't have, there's not really an excuse now. So it's hurt not having Damian Harris.
I think we also learned that Rex Burkhead was the equivalent of the tight end best friend for the quarterback.
Yep.
He was Cam Newton's security blanket.
I think
and
it's
when
a
you lost
hugely
Rex
underrated-
Burkhead, you lost that.
Yeah, huge underrated loss this year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's mentioned enough.
Joe in Osprey, Florida, has another suggestion for the Air Player of the Game. He says, give it to Jake Bailey. He must be tired, but he did have some good punts tonight. There were some high-hanging punts up there. So
Jake Bailey was funny. I interviewed him this week for the NBC Sports Boston show, and he said that he got a call to go to Bill's office, and Bill was going to tell him that he made the Pro Bowl. But he's
they
like,
mess with
anytime
him?
you get that call to go to the office, you're like,
Yeah.
what did I do?
All right, so you made the Pro Bowl. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
let's not make a big thing about
What's the
it.
part about me getting cut?
Yeah.
But that's one thing about we talk about, like, what things did they implement during this pandemic season that they might carry forward. I think having no game for the Pro Bowl and not having any second teamers, the Pro Bowl now becomes more like
has a meaning.
an All-Pro.
Yeah.
And I think it elevates being on that team, and I think they should keep doing that.
There are a few things I wish that would carry over. That one, though, that Pro Bowl, Fred, as I'm sure you know, people watch it.
Do they?
Actually does. It actually does a number in the ratings, better than a lot of the
Because
other
there's
stuff.
absolutely nothing else on.
Yeah.
But see, I will watch golf. I'll watch other stuff. If I want to watch sports on the weekend,
Right.
I won't watch the Pro Bowl. Why would I watch this?
Right.
I don't understand the appeal of the Pro Bowl in any way.
Yeah.
But people will still watch it because, like you said, there's
I
nothing
guess.
else. There's
So
nothing
do
else.
something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of liked it better when it was after the season, and it just kind of felt like this, relaxed little, throw it on the TV, everything's over. I don't know.
I think, we should keep making a big deal out of it, especially next year if it's in Hawaii and we need to send
Yeah.
someone to travel.
I see.
MOBO was looking for that
MOB.
travel gig.
Just in
MOB
case.
was
Well,
looking.
hey, you're either going to give it to Eric or me.
On assignment. On assignment.
I would too. Do you have cats, dogs, anything?
Me?
Yes.
No, nothing. So
nothing keeping her at home.
nothing
I
keeping
don't
me.
know.
But Eric, I might have to fight him for it because he
seen-
loves to travel.
Eric has that cat. I don't know if he actually feeds it or what. But yeah.
It'd fend for itself.
Well, we
I mean,
got
Eric
we
will
got a
get to-
year. Just think about it.
You don't
If
want to
it's,
see
you
Eric
know-
get laid? But
What?
Hawaii?
We don't work blue. Not even
I
at
thought
this
all
time
of a
of night.
sudden Deuce had made a turn there.
Deuce saw the clock. It's after midnight. Safe harbor. You can say whatever you want.
I think Eric's always fair game. But.
Let's step aside here. We'll return and we will at some point tonight hear from Cam Newton, I believe, and Bill Belichick. We are still breaking down this loss to the Bills here tonight from Gillette Stadium. 38-9 the final. You're welcome to join us too. 855-PATS-500 on the Patriots Postgame Show.
Ready or not.
Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil.
Ready
So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
This is the place to play for $1 million in week 1. DraftKings, land of the millionaire. Football is back. Time to let your competitive streak. Download the app and take your shot at $1 million. DraftKings.
For over 60 years, this team has transformed itself into a championship organization. For over 160 years, our team has demonstrated a similar mentality. There are no days off. Our front lines are fortified by people who sacrifice individuality for the team. Our shelves are also stocked with the best quality products and ingredients. Our team members know their roles. We're proud to do our jobs. Shaw's, the official supermarket of the 6-time champion New England Patriots.
Ready or not.
Gillette ProGlide and ProGlide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
This is the place to play for $1 million in week 1. DraftKings, land of the millionaire. Football is back. Time to let your competitive streak. Download the app and take your shot at $1 million. DraftKings.
For over 60 years, this team has transformed itself into a championship organization. For over 160 years, our team has demonstrated a similar mentality. There are no days off. Our front lines are fortified by people who sacrifice individuality for the team. Our shelves are also stocked with the best quality products and ingredients. Our team members know their roles. We're proud to do our jobs. Shaw's, the official supermarket of the 6-time champion New England Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
We got off the path. They can't get back on the path.
Path is
They're
blocked
off
forever.
They're off the beaten path. That's path metaphor insert here.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Yeah, we haven't talked about what this loss does for the path. Is the path now, is that out of the question now?
Dead.
Okay.
Gone.
Are we all
Dead.
Yeah, the path is...
Want their chances.
Path is
Dead.
destroyed.
Gone.
It's been nice not to have to talk about the path for a couple of weeks. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
As
And if they lose, and then they tell 2 friends, and then
as sobering as it was, as it seems like a long time now that the Patriots have not had a mathematical shot at the playoffs anymore. They have been eliminated for what seems like a long time now.
Like a week ago.
Hasn't it been? I know it's only been a week, but hasn't it been nice not to have to talk about it at all?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's not a consideration anymore. We can move on with our lives.
Well, I felt like we were stretching it a little bit. We're like, but there's still
that's why.
And that's for me. Like, I just thought the Ravens are not going to lose, so we're not going to make it. I just want the Patriots to win, so it's at least entertaining and interesting. Right. But I knew that the Ravens weren't going to lose, so they weren't going to make it.
Let's go to Eric in New Jersey. Eric, what's up, buddy?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so this is more of like a Tuesday middle week question, but I know Fred, I know you're around. When they worked out Stephon Diggs on a private workout, like guys like Tyler Lockett, they bring on a private workout, or they go to the schools and do private workouts. Deontay Thompson from Toledo, get on the Steelers. Like, what is it that they do not see that when these players translate into the NFL at the wide receiver position? I know you guys talked about it earlier. We picked Nikhil at the end of the draft, but we were at 21. We could have got, when we traded with the Chargers, Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray in the middle of this defense. You have a 3-down linebacker that's athletic out there. I just don't understand the talent and evaluation on this roster, on like the decision makers. I know it's Bill, I know it's Nick, and whoever's in that lab when on draft day, but I just don't understand how they cannot just simply just evaluate talent at the offensive positions. I mean, we can hit on Aaron and Gronk and just a few players, Edelman. I mean, I kind of just fell into your lap. But what is it that they just don't understand that correlates from the college game, or just and how some of these other teams can just bring guys in? Why don't you just play to the skill set of your players, like a Justin Jefferson we could have had? I just don't understand. I understand the system, whatever, quote unquote complicated. But how is it that other teams can just bring plug and play guys, and these guys can just play and just pick up? I'm not saying that they're all pro levels at year one, but year 2, year 3. I mean, look at A.J. Brown, Debo, these guys, just elevating by year 2. Last year, you've seen the flashes, DK Metcalf, and, A.J. and Debo. I just don't understand from the offensive talent evaluation. I mean, we could talk about Cam. I mean, there's nothing left to say about Cam. Stidham. The season's over. Right? We're gonna be spinning the rat in the wheel. But like, where is the talent? Like, how do they properly evaluate talent on this team? And that's just the biggest frustration. I just don't understand.
All right, Eric. No, we got you. It is something that we've talked about when you look at receivers who were taken after. When you can do it pretty much at any position here through various drafts of the last couple of years. How did you miss that guy? How did you take him at this position when you could have had this guy who went 3 or 4 picks later? I think and the first and most obvious thing that you want to talk about is, okay, there's probably some issues with evaluating at the wide receiver position.
It's a great question, and I hear and I understand the frustration in fans. And the answer, and I'm going to sound stupid with this explanation, but I think the way Bill wants to construct a team sometimes hurts him in the draft, in that, I'm not going to take DK Metcalf, I'm going to take Harry, because I think he fits better.
Yeah.
He may not be the better athlete, but he was going to be better for my team. And when you have Tom Brady, that covers up a lot for a lot of that. Yeah. But I think not just on offense, but I think on defense, he has a certain mindset of how he wants to construct from 1 to 53. And it all needs to mesh. And there's certain players that, he will admit might be better athletes, but I'm not going to take him because I don't think he fits as well. And I can hear people saying, well, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
How is that working out? Well, I mean,
not good right now.
Not good right now, but
yeah, and I think it goes to that Scott Pioli quote of we're building a team and not collecting talent. And,
right.
And I think you're right. And I just
where
wonder,
does he get that from? He gets it from Bill.
Yeah.
Right.
And where does Bill get it from? I always feel like I go back to Navy. I feel like he was raised in Navy, and most of the guys he acquires are guys who kind of you could picture in that military environment. James White, for an example, just those. That's always been kind of my side theory. But he's totally right, and I hear the frustration in his voice, and it's easy to go down, and I mean I do hate doing why draft this guy? We could have this guy, that gets a little bit tedious. But, but they're at a point now they cannot continue on this path. They have to turn it around, or guess what? It's going to change.
Also, what do we hear Bill Belichick say every year about the college passing game? It's so much different. He says the college passing game is basically non-existent, and the jump from that to the NFL is huge. And I feel like he doesn't have or hasn't had a ton of respect for the college passing game, and that's dictated the way he's evaluated wide receivers. And like it or not, for better or for worse, Tom Brady being your quarterback for 20 years impacted the way you drafted wide receivers. Sometimes it was for the better, sometimes it was for the worse. I think with guys like Harry, coming into that situation, it's really hard to learn that way. Now, we've learned a lot more from Harry since then, and I don't think he was the right pick. But I think when you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, that's for sure. That changes the way you draft.
But Bill confuses us in his explanation, and I've heard him say exactly what you said, that sometimes it's hard to translate the college offenses to the pros and the college players to the pros. But then he'll also say, hey, it's a receiver. Get open and catch the ball. That's what matters, So if that's the case, then get the best guy that can do that.
Well, but yeah, right. And with N'Keal Harry, it's like if you can't separate, you don't have great speed. Right. I don't know how you saw that. The thing that bothers me when you're talking about Metcalf so Harry was taken at 32 overall. It's not like Metcalf went at 33.
Right.
There's a lot. He went at 64. It's like every other team also passed on. Every other team would love to have him on their roster right now. So to only pick on the Patriots for this, no. The league missed on him. I mean, based on what he has turned into. Okay, he shouldn't have been there at 64.
Right.
All right, he should have been taken a lot sooner if you're going to second-guess it to this extent. Every team, conceivably, unless you were just loaded at wide receiver and you have no use for a guy like that, could be taken to task for not selecting him too. So it's not just a Patriots issue when it comes to a player like that. Let's go to Shane in Texas. Shane, you're on the Patriots Postgame Show. What's up, Shane? Shane?
At least it's not beeping.
No. You know what? Small victories, okay? Very good. Thank you for that, Deuce. Kevin in San Francisco is always there. He's never let us down. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Hardy, how you doing, man? I got my Jägermeister flowing.
Oh,
it's all good.
Love it.
It's all good. Hey, Freddie.
Yeah.
Freddie's on right now, right? I'm visiting my mom in Dennis, Mass.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Dennis, very nice. You heading over to Corporation Beach?
You're talking to some Dennis regulars here.
I got the T-shirt on right now that says Corporation.
There you go. I used to be the mayor there.
You know what? That does not surprise me in one iota. Seriously.
Go to Smuggler.
Hold on 1 second. Were you literally the mayor of Dennis?
I was the mayor of Dennis Beach, Corporation Beach.
Oh, you.
That means were you like the guy in the 20s who was the cool guy who's like, yeah, who's that?
No, this is when I was in high school.
He's good people. He's good people.
I'll show you how hip I am. I don't go to Corporation, I go House Street Beach.
House Street.
Wow. Literally
House Street.
Yeah.
5 feet over.
What's the big one? Mayflower?
Mayflower's down
That's
a little
the big,
bit.
Yeah, you kids go to Mayflower.
We're talking Dennis right now. This is scratching my itch. I love it.
That's my favorite town on the Cape.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been you've been to Chapin's Beach, right?
Of course.
So the flats, baby.
Yeah.
Best keg parties going on back in my day.
Gina's? Anyway. It's not the same as it used to be, Kevin.
No, it's not. It's not. Anyway.
Back when I was the mayor.
So anyway, San Francisco back east. Hey, listen, I'm like 38-9. Didn't matter if it was 68-9. Didn't really care. I told you last week, I want these guys to lose the last 2 weeks, and Cam Newton's our best chance of losing these games. So the bottom line is this. I honestly, I know we're starting to get onto the talk about placement and what we can draft. You know, Paul said it a number of weeks ago on Patriots Unfiltered. He said, listen, the difference between 12 and 15 is that not just in 12 and 15, it's about what you pick in the second round and the third round and the fourth. You're 3 ahead of everyone else. And that's what I'm hoping for right now. So I hope they keep Cam in. And if I got to be honest with you, I love Bill Belichick. He has done such great work for this community, this area, this region, these states for so long. But if he puts Stidham in this last game, I am twisted beyond my belief.
Well, you don't think they're going to win?
No idea what he's thinking.
Well, I don't think it really makes a difference, Stidham or Cam.
Yeah, I don't know that it matters all that much, Kevin. And by the way, enjoy your time in Dennis. What difference does it really make? B, I will say this. Throwing him in tonight and making any kind of a judgment on Stidham, unfair.
Right.
Give him a week.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Make the call right now.
That's the only reason to do it. Yeah. Give him the week. You declare him the starter on Monday. You give him all the reps. See how he responds as a starter because he's never been through that. Yeah. Right. He's never done that before.
Well, I'm sure Belichick was asked about it in his presser.
Yeah, he said we just, you'll see.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we're gonna find out in just a couple of minutes. Now, I still think it would have been better to do this weeks ago and give him several weeks and get into the rhythm and see how he does after a second week and a third week with getting the game plan early.
Unless Bill already knows.
Let's just move on.
And it's not worth it because he doesn't think
him.
Right.
It's not. He's not the guy. Yeah. He's not. If he was, he'd be starting.
The quarterback for the team does not exist on this team.
No.
Right now.
Okay.
And
they don't have
a quarterback. It's not about Stidham. It's just about not wanting to watch the Cam Newton offense anymore.
I just want to see
I'm like,
something
for Stidham, I'm like,
well, then bring in the 6'9" guy. Let's do that. Yeah.
Megan, there is zero chance that Cam Newton is the answer at quarterback for this team.
And there's a 1% chance that Jared Stidham is.
Okay, we got one game. It's a meaningless game in terms of the standings and everything else. Why not give it to the guy with a 1% chance as opposed to the guy with a 0% chance?
Well, I guess the answer to that, Mike Reese took a stab at it today. I don't know if you saw his post. But it's more than just who's the better quarterback or I want to see something different. There's the locker room. There's the respect toward Cam Newton that you pay. You know, you don't just take him out. You know, so there's it's more complex than we want to see something different.
And I think they're doing him a solid because, to Cam's credit, I think he's come in and he's done everything they've asked him to do. He just is not playing football
doesn't
well.
do it well.
I don't think, Fred, I don't think they're doing Cam any favors putting him out there anymore.
Yeah.
I think they're doing
What about money?
I think they're doing him a disservice. If he has got all kinds of money tied up in starting all 16 regular season. Well, he didn't start all 16.
Yeah, but It might be a certain amount of snaps. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, but
you know what? Then write him the check.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Then write him the check, and I don't think it is more respectful to put him out there so that he can go. What was he? 5 of 10. Were that his numbers? 5 of 10. Did he throw for 34 yards
34
tonight?
yards. That's the lowest amount of passing yards from a quarterback.
You're telling me
Patriots
it's the respectful, healthy locker room thing to do, to put the guy back out there who you know is going to get you 50 passing yards and complete 8 passes if he plays all 4 quarters?
Yeah, I just.
What are we doing?
I don't know score-wise if it's going to look any different.
No, they're men. They know. They know. Any other guy in that locker room would be benched.
Listen,
there were guys benched mid-game tonight because their performance was bad.
I'm all for it because
what are we doing?
I just want to see something different. I just want to have something different to look at. But
he's not the Messiah.
There is more
He's
to it. That's not it.
I don't think it makes
Bill,
a difference.
I don't think
whatsoever.
Bill thinks he's. I know Bill doesn't think he's good.
What?
You know, he's gonna support him and back him up. And he's not going to throw him under the
what
bus.
a
But
180 on this team.
Bill's been watching football for an awful long time, and what he's watching is not NFL quarterbacking. He knows that.
Obviously,
he
but
knows that.
What a 180 on this team from like a top-down mentality to where the quarterback was just another player who had to take his lumps in film and wasn't allowed to have his trainer around because that's not what we do. To all of a sudden, now we're going to play a guy that we know is not equipped to play the position because we feel that he's somehow earned it.
Well, first of all, we don't know what it's like when they're in the meeting room. We don't know how Cam is being treated there. If he's being coddled in the room the same way he is in the press conferences, I'd be really surprised. There's no way that Bill or Jed Fish or whoever wasn't pointing out the mistakes in a very objective, blunt way. I can't believe that. That would be worse for your team than, anything else.
I know it's hard to believe, but I really think Cam is probably better than Jarrett Stidham is right now. I know it's hard to believe. I know it's marginal, but I just don't think Stidham's any good either.
I don't know how you make that assessment. We haven't seen him play.
Yeah, but when we have seen him play, he throws picks and he throws it at people's feet.
Right now, he stinks right now, too. But to say that he stinks, as bad or gives you absolutely no other chance at it.
You think they would have won today if Stidham played the whole game?
You gave him a 1% chance of being a quarterback.
Okay, but
which is more than we give Cam.
Let's say Stidham is 20% better in throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, what good is that? And is it worth putting Stidham in there and taking Cam out as the starter after all that Cam has done and taking the less money and the leader that he is and the respect he has in the locker room? There's all that stuff. And I know that Belichick does care about the locker room. He cares about the chemistry. He cares about the pecking order. He cares about the salaries that certain players make and how they rank. And the players care about that too. They do. They're keeping track.
I find it difficult to believe that it's going to make for a healthier locker room to put Cam Newton out there as your starter again next week, knowing that he is going to give you no chance.
I think there's something to be said that Cam Newton's making less than most of his linemen. How many teams is that the case where your starting quarterback is making less? Probably the least amount on your offense.
Well, how many? How many teams is a guy in there making that amount of money who's already put $122 million in his pocket for his career?
No, I understand, but that's not that's not how it works, and you know that.
No
one is out there giving deals to teams because I've already made a lot of money.
It works that way a little bit. Guys look at it in terms of how much they're making this year, but they also know how much that guy has made. And I know a lot of players in all sports across the board equate money with respect.
Yes.
So if this is the only way that Cam is going to get his respect, then at this point, maybe that's all they have. They have nothing left anymore than to say that we're going to have a respectful locker room where players are treated a certain way, and Cam has somehow earned that more so than Jarrett Stidham.
Here's a guy who's made all that money, who's willing to play for pennies, because of the love of the game, because he really wants to play. To Bill, maybe that's an example. Maybe if everyone loved to play football the way Cam does, the world would be a better place.
Maybe he doesn't want to ruin the confidence of Stidham. Maybe Stidham shows some promise. They think he could be a backup on this team for 5-10 years.
Don't go back that way, Megan. You already had him buried. Don't.
Then they don't want to throw him in there because they know it's going to be a recipe for disaster. I don't know why they're not starting him, but I don't think he's any good.
I think it's complex. I think there's many layers to what's going on.
If you're going to be an NFL quarterback, you don't need to be cuddled like that. Like, you should be ready to go, and you should be ready for your chance. And when you go, they should say, "We trust you to go." You know, I can't imagine these quarterbacks. There's ever been a great quarterback that had his hand held through the first 2 seasons. And he's not ready. Don't ruin. I agree with you generally. I don't think he's very good. But I just don't think they see him.
I think what we learned this year is that neither one of these guys, Stidham or Newton, are going to be the quarterbacks of this team.
Or Brian Hoyer.
So
they don't have a quarterback.
So playing Stidham means a lot less than letting Newton play, setting the example of love of football, respect, work hard, ethic, all that stuff. And we'll worry about the quarterback next year as soon as the season's over.
And there's a weird reverence for Cam. Not weird. I don't want to say weird. There's a reverence for Cam Newton among a lot of these younger players. Guys like Jacoby Myers who, grew up like in awe of him. And I think that goes throughout the team. And I think that's part of it too. It's not just, the money aspect of it and the spirit. I think there's just the Cam Newton presence that they kind of respond to. And, to bring up Jacoby as an example, that's what's frustrating is Jacoby's actually put together a good season. Why is he the only one? Why is he the only one able to kind of pull a good season out of this year? Like, nobody else.
Harris.
Isn't it strange, though, that we're sitting here talking about how, Cam Newton's the guy who's playing for the love of the game and he's doing it for the right reasons. This is the same guy after he had good games against Miami, Vegas, and Seattle, where you're saying they couldn't re-sign him right now because he's going to hold out and get $30 million a year from a team next year. This is the same guy who we're now propping up as being the most ethically upstanding and playing for the love of the game, doesn't care about the money player on the team. The narrative changed drastically over the course of 8 weeks.
Well, yes. That's the nature of the NFL. But for this season, he was willing to do this just to get back in, just to prove himself.
And to make a huge paycheck for his next team next year.
After all, they are professionals. That's the point, is to make a lot of money.
Okay. So, you just said it. They're professionals. He's not playing professionally. He's not playing
but he's behaving professionally, and that counts.
We're going to find out how professional he was in his press conference coming up here in a few minutes.
Do you know something?
I know a little something.
Fireworks.
I know a little something.
I'm going to eat crow here?
Nah, I don't know that you're going to. It's not a gotcha moment, but he got a little Polly pissy pants after the Texans game when he was asked about the batted balls. He's like, because it's J.J. Watt is a Pro Bowl defensive end putting his hands up.
Well, you give credit to your opponent. What's wrong with giving credit to your opponent?
And I know we're going to get calls all week, and people are going to say, why are they still starting Cam? Why are they still starting Cam? I really just don't think it matters if it's Cam or if it's Stidham. I think it matters. The defense is a problem. The weapons are a problem. We're not seeing the growth that we want to see anywhere on the roster.
It doesn't matter in terms of the result of the game, but it might matter in those other intangibles.
Okay, so next week has nothing to do with the fans, with the win, or anything else. It's about keeping the handful of guys in the locker room happy who are going to be here next year.
Yeah, we're gonna play out this season. We're gonna give it 60 minutes. We're not gonna give up, but. Is there anyone from Foxborough High that can play? Because we're a little short this week.
Those tight ends that you mentioned that might be on the team next year, they're going to be really pissed if Cam Newton doesn't start the game because they can't throw him a ball. Jacoby Myers is going to be really upset. He's going to be here next year. You think he wants Cam Newton out there throwing him the ball?
I like this. I like that you're bringing this up because I had the same thought when I'm watching J.C. Jackson, and that was the thing that went through my head. I'm like, oh, J.C. Jackson gets benched apparently, but some of the other people don't. I'm glad you bring up the disparity in it, and I do, and we're all like everybody else right now. We're searching for the answers of why is he playing? And I think a lot of what Fred is saying is correct based on what we know about Belichick, but you're not wrong either. There's a weird, it's just, and that's part of what Belichick takes away.
It's cuckoo season,
but none of this is
so everything
anywhere.
else is cuckoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear from the head coach here, and it's brought to you by Microsoft, our sponsor, Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL, and the New England Patriots, provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the amazing Surface Pro 7 2-in-1 laptop on their site, surface.com. Here's the head coach.
Well, it was obviously a good performance today by Buffalo. They've got a good team. They're well coached, and they played well tonight. And we just weren't able to do much in any phase of the game. They outplayed us all the way across the board. Outplayed us and outcoached us. And they did a good job. They're a very good football team, and we could see why they're the AFC East champions this year. They deserve to be.
We'll open up with questions. We'll start with Ben Volen, followed by Doug Kine.
Hey, Bill. Just a few weeks ago, you guys shut out the Chargers 48-5-0. What's happened to the team since then?
Well, tonight we didn't play as well as we're capable of, and Buffalo played well. So they're certainly the better team tonight, and they, were better than we were in all phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams, playing, coaching, fundamentals. They did a better job than we did, and deserved to win.
The broadcasters mentioned a few times tonight. They said you weren't buying into the Josh Allen craze. You weren't buying into it. Do you have more respect for Josh Allen's game after his performance tonight?
Yeah, I don't know what they said. I'm on the record on that.
Okay, thanks.
Next question, Doug Kide, followed by Mike Reese.
Like Ben said, they did say that you said that you weren't buying into the Josh Allen MVP craze a couple times. Is that a fair interpretation of what you said to them?
I've said multiple times that Josh Allen's a good football player, and he's played well, and he's having a good year.
And there was a shot of you throwing the phone on the sideline after the challenge. What did you? I'm assuming you didn't see the play before the challenge, but what went on that play?
Yeah, obviously he made the catch. It was a good catch.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Tara Sullivan.
On the fake punt that they executed, was that sort of what you guys wanted with the gunners there uncovered?
Yeah, obviously they made a good play on it, and they executed it well, and they got us before we could make the play.
What did you see for the passing game with Cam before taking him out? What would you say the struggles were?
Yeah, well, we didn't have much production. We had, just a combination of things. Protection, drop balls, just lack of good execution. We just didn't execute the passing game well, and they played well defensively with their pressure, and they covered well. So they did a better job than we did.
Next question, Tara Sullivan, followed by Matt Vatour.
I just wanted to follow up on Doug's question. Bill, what specifically were you annoyed at? Were you annoyed that somebody suggested you challenge that call when you threw the phone? And the reason I ask is I'm just wondering if it's an indication of, frustration just with how this entire season has gone. It's been obviously a very tough one for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good call. It was a good catch, and And the challenge was obviously not successful, as it shouldn't have been. So.
Next question, Matt Couture.
Bill, you mentioned Cam's lack of production passing the ball when you made the switch. Does that affect your plans for who's starting next week?
Yeah, the game was over about 10-15 minutes ago, so. We worked on this game, we played the game, I mean, haven't made any plans for next week, obviously. Game's 15 minutes old.
Next question, Doug Kyde, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Why did you make the decision to go to Jarrett Stidham early in the third quarter?
Yeah, to give Jarrett a chance to play.
Looks like the final question will be Andrew Callahan.
Why was that the proper time in your mind to give Jarrett the chance to play?
Well, we weren't. We weren't playing very well, and I felt like it was the opportunity to give him a chance to play. I mean, Cam did a good job for us. I mean, that wasn't the problem. But we were just weren't very competitive in the game. Okay, thank you.
All right, well, we got our answer as to why Jarrett Stidham went in when he did.
Yeah.
And I think what wasn't said there is that it was predicted by Megan O'Brien in the pregame show, and he just wanted to make
I think
her,
as Megan said.
Just doing what Megan told me to do.
After
as
her
Megan said earlier.
woefully uninformed
asked
opinion of the Jarrett Stidham assessment, he felt like he owed her at least that much to kind of balance things out.
Well, he said he wanted to give Stidham a chance to play, but he basically said without saying it was mop-up time. I mean,
yeah, but that's the thing. It's not that he's never been disingenuous before, but I wanted to give Jarrett a chance to play. That's not. If you really wanted to give him a chance to play, you'd give him a chance.
Yeah, you'd
He
name
had
him
no
the starter
chance.
and give him the reps all week and prepare like he's the starter.
He had no chance.
That's right. That's right. Well, we have 3 calls to get to, which I want to make sure everyone's on board with this. Very quick.
Lay it
break.
out. Lay it out.
Very quick break here.
Yeah.
We come back, 3 calls, and then we hear from Cam Newton. And we find out if he lives up to Fred's assessment of him of being a very professional, positive, good influence.
I'm being set up here. I'm being
bad.
set up like a mother.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard it yet myself. I've been here.
Yeah.
I don't know. See things, hear things.
That
I
sounds
don't
good to
know.
me. Can the break be like 12 seconds long, though?
Yeah, we can do a very quick break. We'll do a
Belichick's just beautiful. How he just, throws out this game ended 15 minutes ago. Like,
I
just stating facts.
15 minutes
Just-
old. That was the phrase. The game's 15 minutes old.
Just a little baby game.
All right.
Doesn't even
quick-
have a name yet.
Quick break, 3 calls, and and we don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. It's covered in filth.
You haven't even cut the cord yet.
Right.
Can you give us a minute? We don't have a name.
And then we'll hear from Cam Newton next.
Wow! You gotta see the stats on that one! I shot at a TD, 14%. Defender distance, decimals. My only out, 0 gravity, 6 points. Next Gen Stats powered by AWS.
My Caleb Sofin love seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes. You look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount!
Why is this it? Okay. Yeah, it should fit. It should fit.
The take it back for something smaller with the CarMax 7-day money-back guarantee way. Whatever your way, that's the way car buying should be.
How do we inspire people to lead their healthiest lives? How do we bring everyone together so that healthcare finally works for all of us? We know how. We are the how. Optum. How well gets done.
Wow! You gotta see the stats on that one! I shot at a TD, 14%. Defender distance, decimals. My only out, zero gravity, 6 points. Next Gen Stats powered by AWS.
My Caleb Sofa and Love Seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes. You look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount.
Why is this it? Okay. Yeah, it should fit. It should fit.
The take it back for something smaller with the CarMax 7-day money-back guarantee way. Whatever your way, that's the way car buying should be.
How do we inspire people to lead their healthiest lives? How do we bring everyone together so that healthcare finally works for all of us? We know how. We are the how. Optum. How well gets done.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
God bless Myers. I mean, the guy's just balling out there.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
That's a great bite. That's a great drop. All right, let's go to Scotty in New York here on the Patriots Postgame Show. Scotty, you're on with Hardy and Deuce and Fred and MOB. What's going on?
Paul doesn't have COVID.
Go ahead, please, Scotty.
Well, see, we just listened to Belichick's press conference, and obviously, he's never a guy that gives off a lot. But the one thing that he didn't bring up, which I really thought he would, was effort. And I understand that it's got to be hard if you're a player to get yourself motivated for a game like this, because it doesn't mean anything. The best thing to do for the team really is lose, because it improves your draft pick. But it's ridiculous how some of the players, and not all, just it didn't even look like a lot of the guys even came to play, and not even the starters, just some of the guys that could be playing for jobs, some of the guys that could be playing for.
All right, I don't need a lot of examples. Give me one example of a bad effort you saw tonight. Not execution, but effort.
I thought there was a play in the first quarter where David Andrews just let Ed Oliver, who again is a fabulous player, just let him walk right free and let him get sacked. Didn't even turn his back. I mean, it was just.
I think Andrews is hurt, but
I think Andrews is hurt, and Andrews would be the last guy I would expect to put forth.
James,
bad effort.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it's an effort question. Now, were there some missed tackles? Absolutely. Did Uche run past the play? Yeah, but it's not from effort. It's execution. And to your point, Hardy, there's a big difference.
Ability.
Yeah.
Getting back to what we talked to at the beginning, inconsistency, because these guys are taking on roles that they're not ready to take on yet.
Yeah, I also just think there's probably a few guys that are kind of done with this COVID season and just want to be over being tested and protocols and all that. So I think there's some energy probably about the team that would, I mean, I'm not saying that there was a lack of effort, but I think it's accurate. I think there are guys that we're out of the playoffs. What are we doing? I haven't seen my kids.
But in the first quarter, didn't you say, "Hey, this might be a game"? Weren't you saying
if
that?
they had gotten that first touchdown?
Because it looked like
held them to 3.
Both teams had a lot of energy and they were flying around, and then the Patriots. You kind of realize, all right.
In retrospect, it was that they got 3 runs. They had the big Sony run on the first drive, and then the other scoring drive, they had back-to-back Sony and then JJ, and that was basically 50 yards of that drive. But that was it. I think that's a little bit.
But defensively, when you give up that first touchdown, it's not lack of effort. It's execution. It's Adam Butler jumping off sides a couple of times on that one drive. This isn't an effort issue. This
not
is
engaged a little bit.
These are mistakes. These are execution, and then there's some missed tackles, and there's guys who are unable to cover digs. But that's not effort. That's just you got a good quarterback thrown to a really good receiver, and I'm not good enough in coverage to handle this one-on-one. James.
There it is. Hang up, Hardy.
Hey.
The Hardy hang up.
You had to get one. That's good. That was a good one. I like that one, though.
Only one tonight.
And it was from Buffalo. What do we care?
John never going to hang up.
No, not in
He would
LA.
sit all day
way.
long.
Nope. Go ahead, John.
I will be here all night. All right. So here's some positivity. Are you ready?
Yeah.
First of all, one piece of positivity is if Jarrett Stidham isn't as good as Cam, I may be better than Jarrett Stidham. So that's exciting for me. I think the team is going to, like Fred's been saying lately, the team is going to have to, we're going to have to expect a real rebuild next year. But if these few things can happen, we're on the way. It's about convincing people like Allen Robinson to sign a contract with the Patriots. It's about getting Hunter Henry to sign a contract with the Patriots. It's about having the balls to trade 2 number ones and maybe more to go up and get Zach Wilson or some, if they like somebody. Trade the number ones to get up there. And if you do those 3 things, and I know there's lots of things that have to happen, and those are big things, but if you do those 3 things, that's very good. That's like a good positioning of the team, and it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I hear you on the Zach Wilson, but I think he's going to be like number 2,
the
maybe?
The thing is, we have to analyze who's ahead of the Patriots, and if they need a quarterback, why would they trade out? You know, because they need it just as bad as the Patriots need it, so why would you trade out unless you just don't like a guy like Zach Wilson, which I doubt, you know. So it's not just a matter of having the weapons to move up in the draft. It's being fortunate enough to move up to places where the team really doesn't need a quarterback and they're willing to move out.
Yeah.
So I need to dive deeper before I can answer that question.
If the Patriots are sitting, 12th or 13th, they can probably move up to 8th, right?
Right.
Something like that. You're probably not going to get Zach Wilson at 8.
Yeah, at this, everyone's talking about now. He's jumped from the second round to.
I know,
round.
Second overall. Yeah. I mean, I think John is interesting. I was curious. If that's his plan, if veteran weapons, rookie QB is the way he wants to go. I mean, I know he's heavily invested in this. And
I'm all for it. If you can do
is that the model you want?
Sign me up.
I just have trouble seeing them trade up for. I just don't think they can get to where they need to go to get the guy they need to get. And. That's why I think it's going to be tough trying to get one of those rookie quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a second or third round guy.
But maybe
flyer.
the guy they like is available at 9 or 10.
Maybe.
And you don't have to move up like to 5.
Yeah.
You can get him at 9 or 10, and maybe it's not such a big leap to do it. We don't know who they like. That's the problem.
Yeah. I kind of would rather just a Stafford, a Dak, a Garoppolo.
Well, I'd do both.
And then you get a receiver, because the only quarterback I know right now is a sure thing is Trevor Lawrence, and they ain't getting him. They're not. They're not. Well, he's the only one that is a sure thing. These other guys, I think Bill Belichick can win with Stafford if he builds the team. I think Bill Belichick can win with Garoppolo and figure out a way to get him healthy. I think he can win with Dak. But these other guys, Zach Wilson, I really like him. A lot of promise. Is he going to work out?
I know. Well, that's what I just, was watching. Dwayne Haskins, 15th overall, 19. And that's where they're going to be picking.
If
and
I
that
was
just
the Patriots,
shows you
I'd
how
sign him tomorrow.
15th overall cut next year. It just shows you how tough it is right in the 15th. You know what I mean? Guys go right in that point.
Unfairly cut. He went to a birthday party. I understand why. You have to.
Birthday suit
party.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. Quarterback time. Let's talk. Or hear from the Patriots quarterback, Cam Newton. He did speak for almost 8 minutes in his post-game press conference after the 38-9 loss to the Bills. So let's hear from Cam
Cam, just disappointing tonight, getting replaced again. Maybe just share a little bit of what you're feeling. And I don't know if it's the right time to ask, but if you think you'll start next week's game, if you want to, just where your head's at.
Yeah, it's disappointing. But, I'm just doing what I'm asked to do, trying to be the best player for this team that I could possibly be. And that's what it is.
Next question, Matt Vautour, followed by Henry McKenna.
Cam, are the struggles, does it feel like different from game to game, or does it feel to you like there's a thread that sort of connects the struggles from 1 week to the next, and has it been hard to figure out how to reverse that?
I don't understand your question, sir.
When you've had some struggles throwing the ball over a period of weeks, is it something that the Bills did specifically tonight, or has it been something that you've struggled with over the course of the season? Is it the same thing that you're struggling with, or has it been different from week to week?
I'm just trying to do and be the best player that I could possibly be for this team, and that's what it is. It's nothing that another opposing team is doing. But I'll be the first to say that I need to get better, and it starts with practice.
Next question, Henry McKenna, followed by Dan Roach.
Hey, Cam. You recently said you feel like you're still on a job interview here. How do you feel like you're doing? Do you feel like you've done enough to prove to the Patriots that, you know, you deserve the job, not just in Week 17, but in 2021? And do you feel like on a bigger scale you've done enough to prove that to the league in general with the contract expiring?
No, I don't care about no contract. I just want to win.
So I guess I'll narrow the question down a little bit. Do you feel like you've done a good job in this job interview this year?
That's not for me to answer.
Okay, thank you.
Next question, Dan Roach, followed by Ben Volen.
Hi, Cam. You've talked a lot about, obviously, it's about winning. How much frustration, disappointment, anger do you have right now with the fact that you can't go out and as an offense, produce and do what you guys maybe did earlier in the season and get it done now? How difficult has it been on you personally, emotionally, as you go through this? It can't be easy for what you've been through in your NFL career.
It's extremely frustrating knowing what you're capable of, having belief in yourself, but it's just not, showing when it counts the most.
Two final questions, Ben Volen and Doug Kide.
Hey, Cam, on the broadcast, they showed a graphic stating your daily schedule, and it said you wake up at 4:20 in the morning and you're out of the house in 10 minutes. You don't go to sleep till 11:30 at night. Is that your normal schedule for the day?
That's been my schedule for 90% of the time that I've been here. So you can kind of understand the frustration that I do have when I don't have the outcome because I'm sacrificing so much. You're talking to a person who ain't seen his kids in 3 months. Obviously, the contract is what it is. Submitting myself to this team is something that I've been doing since day one. Being accessible, and yeah, it's frustrating. It makes you mad. It makes you angry, knowing that to be a trusted teammate, you first have to submit to authority and submit to what the coaches are asking you to do. And I feel like I have done that. And I'm not in the place to blame or the place I'm just more or less venting right now because, yeah, I've sacrificed so much this year. And I mean, it hurts, when you have the outing that you have tonight and just to go home and then start it over for a whole nother week. Yeah.
Cam, Bill Belichick has really stood by you all season. He's let you start every game. He's been singing your praises up and down. Even tonight, he was asked why he benched you, and he said it was a combination of things, and he was, again, defending you. What does it mean for you to have Belichick consistently standing up for you, and did you expect that?
I think the feeling is mutual. I'll be the first person to tell you that I do need to play better. But at the same time, it's just things that if I'm asked to do something, that's what I'm going to do. I've never been a person to be controversial in the locker room, contrary to any other person's belief. I try to be the best teammate I can possibly be, and that's what I will continually to do. I will keep getting better each and every week, getting more comfortable in this offense for the last week that I possibly can, and, let's see where it gets me.
The last question, Doug Kide.
Cam, more on that daily schedule. Have you always been a person who doesn't need a lot of sleep?
Yeah, that's always been an issue of mine. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously it ain't the sleep, because it's the success. Yeah.
going back to what Ben was kind of asking you, Bill said that you did a good job for the Patriots tonight and that you weren't the problem. Would you, I guess, agree with that assessment from Bill?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say, anytime, I'll put it like this, you don't get pulled out just because you're having a stand-up game. I can tell you that. I'll be the first person to say that. There's some things that I feel like I could have done better. But, what my standard is for myself, it's never to, just blend in and just be the status quo. There's some plays that need to have been made on my part that I feel like I could have done better a job at doing. And you just have to review the film and get back to it, So, as a signal caller, as a person who is a dynamic player on this team, I need to impact the game more, and it just didn't happen tonight.
Jarrett Stidham was asked if he'd like to play a full game next week, and he said that, obviously every player wants to play as much as possible. He would love the opportunity to play. So would you also like to, play a full game next week?
I'm not about to get into no back and forth with nobody. Like I say, my job is to be the best teammate that I could possibly be the best player that I could possibly be for this team, and that's what I'm going to continually to do.
Thank you, Cam. Thanks, everyone.
I feel much better because we figured it out. Tom Brady used to go to bed at 7 o'clock at night, and Cam Newton goes to bed at 11:30, and we figured it out. This is why he hasn't played well.
That's
we
the
figured
first thing
it out.
I thought. Brady slept 10 hours a night.
Yeah.
Cam's sleeping 5, maybe.
Right.
That's it.
There was that one point, maybe what you're referring to is when he was, quote unquote, venting about the sacrifice that he's made and so on. And, some could read into that he's doing things that he's being asked to do that he doesn't necessarily agree with, but he's doing it because he wants to be a good teammate, a good player for the coaches and so on. So that's one thing that maybe you could talk about. But the whole part about I haven't seen my kids in 3 months, that's a choice. Yeah. I mean, if you want to see your kids, you can see your kids.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like you're lacking in funds to get them up here or to get down there on your day off on Tuesday. I'm not buying that.
Yeah. Well, not only that, Fred, but if someone tells you, look, I'm the most honest guy you'll ever meet, I'm the most honest, that's your first red flag that they're not being honest, right? If someone tells you, I'm the hardest worker here, no, you're not. The hardest worker is off working somewhere. If someone keeps telling you that, you're the best teammate, I'll be the first one to tell you. My red flag is, well, he's compensating because he knows in some ways that he's either not really feeling that or maybe he's not that. So I can only be told by someone so many times how good they are at something before I start to question whether they're really good at that one particular thing. Quarterbacking is not the issue here. Now we're talking about whether or not, he's the most professional, upstanding, and best locker room guy. I'm starting to question that too, mostly because he keeps saying what a great locker room guy he is.
Yeah,
Submit.
The real ones don't have to say it. There is something
to that. Does Matthew
to
Slater ever talk about what a great locker room guy he is?
No, others do it.
Yeah.
No, seriously, they do the talking for him.
Yes.
Even Bill Belichick does it. You heard Bill Belichick this week talk about him and being named to the Pro Bowl and all he's done for the team on the field and off the field.
Yeah, I thought submit was an interesting word to choose.
Right.
That kind of stuck out to me a little bit.
Like, this isn't me. What you're seeing really isn't me. I'm doing it because I'm being told to do it.
Yeah, I got a little of that vibe.
I chuckle at the job interview thing because I just think of like
our
reviews that we have here once a year when you sit down with your boss and you have your reviews. So Mike, how do you think you're doing at this job?
Awesome.
And you're like, I probably could be better.
To review yourself.
Maybe.
Yeah. What's your biggest shortcoming? I work too much.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm here too often.
By the way, I never say that, and I just say I tell you how you're doing, and then I tell you to go.
You're bad. Get out.
I would love to have one of those. I would love to have one of those with Fred. Earlier tonight during a break, he said, "Oh, if you had an employee pass,
here we go.
you could get a discount."
Oh.
Like,
see, you were supposed. You
Fred,
didn't even show up to your employee review with him.
I'm like, Fred, I work here.
The downtrodden Hardy. No one is more downtrodden than Hardy.
Learn to use the phones. Learn to use the phones, and then you get full time.
I don't know what they do to traumatize him over at 98.5,
Nothing.
but he comes here
That's my point.
like a broken dog.
I feel
he's like one of those dogs you find on the street that it takes you months just to get them to eat. You know,
Fred, that's not true. I am the best coworker. I am the best guy, and I will tell you this. I'll go one further. I am the most happy. I feel loved and respected by everyone on this earth.
Can I scratch your belly?
Fred. Fred's the one guy.
That's his thing.
I know. It makes me want to do more.
You're
what
never
can I do?
quite
sure. We are going to have a lot of fun on this last pregame show, boy. I
know.
can't wait. It's going to be an interesting week. I know everyone's going to be listening to Patriots Unfiltered this week and
later today.
Yeah, later today.
In 11 hours.
Oh, shoot, it's Monday.
Looking forward to the New Year's.
Tomorrow's Tuesday. Actually, it's Tuesday now.
For every short week.
And you said that they'd see us next Tuesday, so I guess that's tomorrow.
We have a show today.
Yeah.
That's right. You guys do.
You have 11 hours.
All right.
So until then and until the pregame on Sunday, final score for the final time, 38-9. Patriots lose to the Bills here at Gillette Stadium tonight. Mike Dussault, Fred Kirsch, Megan O'Brien, Paul Perillo. Feel better soon.
He doesn't have COVID.
We don't think he does, but just in case, feel a lot better, a lot sooner. Matt, everybody, thank you very much. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.